You know that feeling, right? That specific moment at work.
Oh, yeah. The sudden wave.
Exactly. It's like the professional smoke alarm goes off, everything just stops, your heart starts racing.
Everything feels like it needs doing right now.
Yeah.
Total crisis mode.
Right. And you're just frozen. Not because
Yeah.
you can't handle it, but it's just sheer overload.
Information overload, yeah. You need help instantly.
Instantly. Like a mental fire extinguisher, not, a 5-day seminar you read about later.
Right. No time for that.
And that's why we're doing this deep dive today. We're looking at source material that calls itself an emergency toolkit, designed for exactly that moment, for immediate workplace crisis management.
And it's important to frame this, like you said. This isn't fluffy self-help.
Well,
The sources position this as, a rapid deployment system.
right.
It treats that overwhelm as an acute emergency.
An emergency needing immediate intervention.
Okay.
Yeah.
It jumps straight to these specific mental instructions, crisis mantras, the material calls them.
Crisis mantras, okay? And they're designed to interrupt that stress cycle, right? Based on science.
That's the claim. Grounded in neurological science. We're looking for those, measurable, centering instructions you can grab onto immediately.
Got it. So let's unpack that. Where do we start? Usually it's that feeling. Everything feels urgent.
That's the trigger, exactly. The sources really focus on that perception. When everything at work feels urgent, that's when panic sets in.
But hang on, sometimes things are urgent, right? Like that listener thinking, my client deadline I is critical.
Yeah.
How does a mantra help then?
That's the key challenge it addresses. See, when your brain flags everything as equally critical, fight or flight kicks in. Cortisol floods your system.
Which actually makes it harder to think clearly.
Exactly. It degrades your problem-solving ability. So the toolkit's first move isn't solving the external problem. It's separating the feeling of the panic from the actual urgency.
Okay. Emotional versus factual.
Precisely. The initial protocols are all about de-escalation, stopping that emotional spike from driving your reaction.
So you use a mental instruction instead.
Yeah, something measured. It could be a simple internal question like the source suggests. Okay, what is the single, absolute, non-negotiable consequence if I don't do this specific task in the next 10 minutes?
Force yourself to be specific.
Right, and often when you really pin that down, maybe 80% of what felt urgent just falls away. It was loud, but not truly immediate. You're left with the one thing that actually is.
So it's like putting up a mental stop sign. Interrupting the hormonal cascade. But, okay, I'm still a bit skeptical.
Fair enough.
That Friday, 4:58 p.m. email, subject line, urgent,
Yeah.
in all caps. How does some vague instruction help then? Give me something concrete, a specific tool for that moment.
Okay, concrete, yes. For that immediate shock, that paralysis, the toolkit highlights something called a measured breather.
Measured breather, okay.
The instruction is physically stop, put your hands flat on your desk or your lap, and internally say, I only have this one breath.
Just that.
Just that. It's simple, but it's a physical and mental interrupt. It forces a pause. Your brain gets a signal. We're slowing down. It makes you process that urgent email through the filter of one deliberate breath, stopping the panic from instantly taking over.
I like that. It forces a beat before you just react and start typing frantically. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, the toolkit says this isn't just for those 5 alarm fires. It's also for overwhelm management across any professional setting.
Yeah.
General overwhelm.
Yes, broadening the scope.
So does the same idea apply if I'm just drowning in emails or admin tasks? Stuff that isn't urgent, but just a mountain.
It absolutely does. The sources stress that managing overwhelm effectively often isn't about prioritizing better. Sometimes you just have too much on your plate, period.
Right. You can't prioritize your way out of impossible.
Exactly. So it becomes about managing your internal state. And here, the toolkit adds strategies beyond just the measured breather. It introduces grounding and centering.
Grounding and centering. Okay, what's the difference?
So, grounding techniques pull you out of that mental spiral, the what-ifs, the future worries, by focusing on your physical senses right now.
Bringing you back to the present moment.
Precisely. Back to physical reality, like a quick grounding protocol could be deliberately notice 3 things you can physically feel.
Okay,
Like your feet on the floor, the texture of your keyboard under your fingers, maybe the fabric of your shirt sleeve. It's a sensory anchor, stops the catastrophic thinking.
That makes grounding feel really practical, not some abstract concept. Okay, I get grounding. What about centering? How's that different?
Centering is more about the mind's perspective. It's appraisal of the situation. Grounding is about the body in the present. Centering is about your sense of competence and control in relation to the problem.
Because overwhelm makes you feel small and incapable.
Exactly. Totally incompetent sometimes. So a centering instruction aims to remind you of your capacity, your ability to handle things, even difficult things.
Okay, give me an example. What's a centering instruction for, say, a technical glitch that's causing chaos?
Right. So faced with that, a centering instruction drawn from these principles might be something like, I know the system. I am equipped to handle the next small step.
Oh, I like that. Focus on the next small step.
Yes. Or even simpler, maybe. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It shifts your focus from the enormity of the chaos to your own competence for the immediate, manageable micro-action.
And that breaks the paralysis.
Yeah.
Because you're moving from, I'm overwhelmed to, I can do this one thing.
Exactly. Measured action replaces panic. That's regaining control.
That distinction, grounding the body, centering the mind, that's really useful. Okay, here's where I think it gets super interesting. The toolkit isn't just about coping with the current load. It talks about resisting the temptation to overwork, breaking the cycle itself.
Yes, that's crucial.
But why is resisting overwork framed as an immediate emergency protocol? You'd think pushing through, working those extra 2 hours, would solve the crisis faster, get the relief sooner. Why draw a boundary during the crisis?
Because that thinking more effort equals more control when you're already maxed out. That's the trap. It's a dangerous one.
How so?
When you're already overwhelmed, adding 2 more hours of high-stress work doesn't usually lead to brilliant solutions. It leads to burnout and worse decision-making.
You compromise yourself.
You compromise the operator, exactly. Working past your capacity during a crisis doesn't actually manage the crisis better. It just damages your ability to function. So the protocol sees self-preservation as immediate relief.
Okay, so what's the tool? Is there a mantra for that?
Yes, it requires deploying a rapid boundary shift mantra. It's an active choice to step back from the edge.
A boundary shift. Okay.
The core mindset shift here is recognizing that rest isn't weakness, it's protective. Exhaustion is counterproductive to solving the actual problem.
So what would that sound like? The specific boundary instruction?
It might be something direct like, my capacity is the firewall. This task waits until morning.
My capacity is the firewall. I like that imagery.
It's not about being lazy, it's strategic. You're consciously deciding that protecting your ability to function tomorrow is more important than pushing through exhaustion tonight.
So you prevent the current crisis bleeding into your recovery time.
Which you absolutely need for whatever tomorrow throws at you. The toolkit treats preventing burnout as an immediate necessity, not some long-term goal.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So the crisis mantra isn't just managing the task, it's actively protecting the main resource, which is you.
Exactly. That adds a whole other dimension.
It really does.
Okay.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly. The authority behind all this. You mentioned it's grounded in neurological science.
Right. Specifically the work of Dr. Rick Hansen.
Dr. Rick Hansen.
Yeah.
So for the listener who's maybe thinking, okay, nice phrases, but how can saying something for 3 seconds actually change anything? How does it work? What's the science bit?
That's where neuroplasticity comes in. It's the core concept.
Neuroplasticity. We hear that word a lot. What does it mean simply in this context?
Simply put, it's the brain's proven ability to reorganize itself, to form new neural connections, all through life, not just when we're kids.
Okay.
So when we experience workplace stress over and over, we develop these really deep grooves, dominant neural pathways that just fire up the stress response, boom, panic button, almost instantly.
Like a well-worn path in a forest.
Yeah.
The default route.
Exactly, a default neural route. And when a crisis hits, your brain automatically goes down that path. Now, the mantra that measured, centering instruction we talked about,
Yeah.
that's a conscious, intentional act. It's designed specifically to interrupt that automatic firing. Even for just those few seconds you focus on slow is smooth, you're forcing your brain to divert resources away from that old panic circuit and toward a different one, a more deliberate executive function circuit.
So, using your analogy, if the panic pathway is a deep riverbed where the water always flows.
The mantra is like quickly building a tiny temporary dam. It forces the neural signal to pool for a second and look for another route, even a slightly different one.
And every time you use the mantra in a crisis,
You reinforce that new route. You're essentially practicing a non-panic response. And over time, with repetition, that new, calmer pathway can become deeper. It can become the new default.
Okay, now I get it. So the immediate relief is that cognitive shift, stopping the panic signal right then.
Yes.
But the long-term benefit comes from actually strengthening that new neural pathway through repeated use.
Precisely. It validates why repetition matters for these mantras. They aren't just wishful thinking, they're framed as a neurologically sound emergency protocol.
So, connect it back for me. If I use that grounding phrase, my feet are planted on the floor, am I literally building brain resilience against anxiety at that moment?
That's exactly the idea. You are consciously creating a safe or stable experience in your mind, the feeling of being supported, the floor being solid, and you're holding on to that feeling for a few seconds.
Okay.
Dr. Hansen talks a lot about taking in the good, which here means actively registering that feeling of being centered or grounded or in control for that micro moment.
That act of registering it is key.
That's the moment of neuroplastic change, according to the science. You are intentionally practicing a state of non-panic, and your brain learns from that practice. So the rapid relief comes from trusting the science, trusting that your conscious effort can immediately shape your internal state.
This paints a really complete picture. We've gone from that initial gut punch of overwhelm right down to the brain science explaining the fix. Let's try and tie it all together for the listener.
Okay.
So we've pulled out 4 key pillars, really, for immediate relief from this emergency toolkit idea. And crucially, specific instructions you can use, like today.
Right.
First, tackling that paralysis of urgency. Using a measured breather, something as simple as I only have this one breath.
De-escalation.
Second, managing that general, crushing overwhelm, using grounding like my feet are planted, and centering like slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Body and mind, yep.
Third, and this one felt really important, actively resisting overwork during the crisis. Using a boundary shift mantra, maybe my capacity is the firewall.
Protecting the operator, absolutely key.
And finally, the why. Knowing this isn't just pop psychology. It's backed by Dr. Rick Hansen's work on neuroplasticity. These quick actions genuinely start to reroute those panic signals in the brain.
Yeah, it gives it that intellectual rigor. It shows how it works.
So thinking bigger picture, what this toolkit really encourages is viewing stress management not as some far-off goal.
Right, not something for the weekend or your next vacation.
But as a set of instant tools, emergency protocols you can deploy right here, right now.
Exactly. It gives you a way to immediately adjust your internal thermostat, protect your energy, and keep functioning effectively, even when things are chaotic around you.
You're basically swapping out the slow, painful process of just stressing
Yeah, which is really inefficient.
for the rapid, targeted deployment of a mental tool. You have an operational crisis system ready to go.
Available on demand. That's the core message.
Okay, so here's the final thought for you, the listener. Since these strategies work by actively using neuroplasticity, that ability to immediately change your brain's patterns. Think about this. If your brain can be nudged away from panic right now, what's the one thing, the single most common urgent task or email that hits your plate? The one that always triggers that stress. What's the one thing you can consciously practice reframing? Deploying that measured breather, maybe that boundary shift, starting right now. What fire can you mentally downgrade to just a flickering candle today?
The very first thing you got to do is take that free quiz he offers. Why? Because it's built to help you figure out exactly what your specific burnout trigger is. Finally, once you've got that trigger pinpointed, there are 3 main ways to get the complete recovery lowdown. You can buy the ebook or the paperback. They have the whole system laid out. Or if you want a full roadmap, you could enroll in the comprehensive online course. Don't worry about searching all the links for these options. They're right there in the description for you.